Hello learners, welcome to NIS Studio. This is Environmental Science course for senior secondary course of NIOS. This program belongs to Environmental Science, and today we will discuss lesson number 8, Human Societies. This is from module 3, Human Impact on Environment, senior secondary course. So, I am Nilam Gupta, course coordinator of Environmental Science. Welcome you all in this program. Learners, as we know that humans have lived in close contact with the environment ever since they were first evolved way back to the time between 1 million to 2 million years ago. In the beginning, they were hunter and gatherers, as we have already discussed in lesson number 2, human environment and society. Gradually, with time, humans began to lead a settled life and well organized life. So, as human increase in number and progress culturally, they begin to draw more and more resources from nature, and then after that environmental degradation has become now this is a serious matter of concern today. So, during this program we will discuss about human settlement in urban and villages life, their characteristics and associated lifestyle and environmental changes resulting from explosive growth of human population and human settlement. So, what we are discussing during this program. So, we talk about objectives, urban settlement and differentiate between rural and urban society. We will also discuss about what are the push and pull factors that leads to migrate rural population to cities. We will also discuss rural settlement and their its characteristics, special problems of the rural populations, and effect of modern technology in agricultural and this technology impact on rural life too. And we will also discuss significant features of urban life, especially in facilities as well as difficulties in Indian context. And there are some urban problems also, special urban problems, that is changes lifestyle and land availability and resource consumption and waste generation, and slum dwelling areas and urban planning too. We will cater this during this program. So, first come to the human society. As we know, primitive humans passed hunter and gatherer stage. Once they discovered the comfort of food sufficiency through agriculture, convenience of mobility with the discovery of wheel and security of a living in a group. So, humans felt the need for shelter and settled life. So, that is the turning point to evolve the human societies. So, we will talk about first what is settlement. So, settlement is the organized colony of humans with dwelling units. It may be included kacha house or kacha hut or pakka houses, roads they used to travel. Hunter gatherer, hunters, herders, adventurers set up camp for a limited time. So, this is not a permanent settlement, this is known as temporary settlement. Inhabited villages and urban agglomerates are permanent settlement. So, rural settlement are primarily engaged in agriculture, fishing, forestry, mining, craftwork and weaving. In case of urban settlement, it is starts with industrial revolution and associated with non-agricultural activities like manufacturing, trade and commerce, transport, communication, defense and administration. So, traditional cities were walled to separate them from the villages. Cities has markets, dwelling bricks, concrete buildings, units for administrative bodies, religious bodies are common from rural areas for employment, settle down towards the edges of the cities and live in shelters with increased number of population, and the time urban scenario has undergone a change. People coming from the rural areas in search of job opportunities. They settle down in cities in the periphery of the city. So, slum developed. As we know, say traditional cities were walled to separate them from the villages. They have organized settlement. So, now when we talk about the urban settlement, in simple word we say life in cities and towns is urban life, and urban settlement started from beginning of the industrial revolution and are associated with the non-agricultural activities like manufacturing, trade, commerce, administration, defense and communications. And when we move to the cities, there are several, we see several slum areas or shanties. Shanties are a small house usually made up from piece of wood, metal or cardboard, in which the poor people those cannot afford the house in the city. So, they live especially in areas of a city. And hamlet is a settlement of a few dwelling units, whereas large number of people settle in several clusters of buildings form town and cities. So, both when we talk about the examples of permanent settlement, so it include rural as well as urban settlement. So, there are several push and pull factors. Those are forced to people, especially rural people, migrate from village to the city, which includes in search of better job opportunities, education, and to overcome from their poverty and social taboos and superstitions. So, next we will discuss push and pull factors. There are several push factors as well as pull factors. When we talk about push factors, the few services, lack of job opportunities, unhappy life, poor transport links, natural disasters, war and shortage of food are the factors that push people to move city. When we talk about the pull factors, access to services in cities, better job opportunities, more entertainment facilities, better transport facilities, improved living conditions, hope for a better way of life and family links. So, we will discuss little bit about in detail these push and pull factors. First, people move from one place to another place in search of better job opportunities. So, we know villages have limited avenues for jobs or vocations, cities have many and for better employment opportunities, and cities are also expanding constantly in terms of their territories as well as their trade and commerce or economic opportunities. We can take example of Delhi. In case of Delhi, last 50 years or 60 years, Delhi has expanded beyond the eastern bank of Yamuna due to job options for a larger population. Next push factor is schools. Schools are not equipped and not many institutions for higher studies, or cities provide better schools and institutions for higher skills in villages, but in case of cities there are several schools and better education opportunities in cities. Better lifestyle is also one push factor. Social taboos, criticism and superstitions act as a deterrent for the forward looking youth looking for their improved life patterns. So, this better lifestyle attracts them to cities for rural youths. Next is a major factor to overcome the poverty. Poverty along with slavery or bonded labor, malnourishment are the most important factor pulling the villagers villages towards the city with a hope for a better lifestyle and job opportunity to improve their life. Sometimes villagers are forced to move to cities under certain conditions like war, famine, natural disaster, political or religious taboos too. So, now we talk about some characteristics of urban societies. Urban societies have social heterogeneity, freedom for social control and voluntary association, individualism and many others. So, first we will talk about the social heterogeneity. When we move to the city, we see people from the diverse cultural background live together as one community. This is because they all come with a common necessity. What is this? Necessity is for better opportunities to improve their life. Second, freedom from social control and voluntary association. We stay away from home. Loneliness and alienation of urban life encourages people to make secondary associations. Close proximity, diversity and easy contact among socially diverse people bring them closer. So, there are association like association clubs they established to look into common requirements. Next is individualism, multiplicity of opportunities, social diversity, lack of familiar and social control over decision making allows the persons to look more into self interest and they help in choosing one's own careers or oneself. However, one may also fail to make the right choice. So, one needs to be careful. Next characteristic is social availability and availability of facilities. These are also very important in urban society. Social availability in case when we talk about social availability. So, in cities or urban life, one is largely judged by one's achievement, competence, efficiency and not the status of birth, capable person and achieve higher goals in life. And in urban scenario or urban life or urban society, it provides improved health facilities, legal services, bank, market, mall, recreational facilities, commercial, hotels. All these facilities are available in urban area. So, that is when we move village to cities, we migrate from one place to another place and this migration impact from village to city in several in terms of social, economic and environmental. So, when we talk about the social or economic and environmental impact of migration at the place of origin and the destination. In case of social impact, at the origin, when may leave may leave woman behind. At the destination, a sudden increase in population can put pressure on education and health services. In case of economic impact, at the origin, lack of farmland, declining crop and shortage of workers may encourage migration, and when we reach destination, migrants may face unemployment, economic insecurity, low paid informal work and limited professional opportunities. And all of a sudden when we move from village to urban area, environment also impact. So, environmental impact at the origin, migration may lead to the development of slums. At the when we reach the destination, overcrowding can result in pollution, waste generation, contaminated food and water and pressure on marginal land. So, we will continue this discussion with a poem. This poem echoes the sadness of a boy or person leaving the village. When we migrate from village to the cities, so we have to face sometime several persons face much problems. Nobody can find comfortable jobs and comfortable locality to live. So, this poem shows the sorrow of a boy who left his village. So, I left home to come to school, I left farm to come to food, I left my cows, my sheep, but did not have time to weep. Now I know why I cry tonight, cause I know now what I left behind. And today what I hope to find, cities full of cars and bikes, restaurants and bars and roaring mics, but I miss the vast sky and my kites to fly, and my folk, my friends seems vanishing trends. So I cry tonight, but what shall I gain? Tomorrow I will struggle, and then day to after day again. So now we talked about the rural settlement. As we know, rural settlement have different cultures too, and people those are primarily engaged in agriculture and agriculture related work like fishing, forestry, mining, craft work and weaving. So, as we know, our vast population live in villages and are mostly farmer or craftsmen. Earlier life in villages are completely different from the city. Now, villages are also changed nowadays. So, in this era you can see mobile phone, bikes, concrete houses and differences in clothes worn by the elders and those by youngsters. So, this is because youngsters are not taking up their family vacations and are heading towards cities. So, now we talk about special characteristics or features that are found in rural communities. First, in agriculture is a dominant agriculture is a dominant occupation of villages. Village economy is based on the agriculture and farmers hard to grow crops for the country. So, the figure left side shows large field for cultivating spotted by their houses in plain, and second figure shows terrace farming in large field spotted for cultivation by their houses in hills. We do agriculture in both hills and plains area. In villages we follow joint family system, and particularly in Asian Indian life, it is a social and cultural institution found more in villages than in cities. People are very simple, they are God fearing and traditional bound persons. They lead simple life untouched by glamour of city life. In rural society, there are Jajmani system. Jajmani system comprises Jajmans and service provider. Jajmans who are the landowner for upper caste and the service provider from the lower caste levels who are paid in cash or kind. Caste system is also in the village society. It is very prominent in villages, although it is not desirable. People who lived in village follow the Indian calendar, Samvat and Hijri calendars. In villages there is poverty as well as illiteracy. Poor productivity due to fragmented and barren lands leads to poverty. Lack of facilities in spite of welfare programs lead to the illiteracy in villages. So, averse to mobility and social change, orthodoxy, illiteracy, superstitions and fear of violating traditional norms keep youth from taking new avenues or adopting any changes. So, there are some differences between rural and urban settlement in terms of environment, occupation, community size, population density, social differences and stratification. So, when we see environment in rural society, predominance is nature, people directly related to the nature, but when we talk about the urban society, it is a man-made environment, inhabitant isolated from nature. And when we talk about the occupation, so in villages or rural society, agriculture based occupation are in majority, few in non-agriculture prefer suit for rural society, but in urban case mostly industrial worker, traders, professionals and working in offices, mostly engaged in administration, all non-agricultural occupation. Population density is comparatively low, but in large in urban society. If we talk about the social differences and stratification, and it is much less due to the similar vocation in village or rural society, differentiation pronounced due to work related differences in earning, different strata of urban society noticeable, community size in villages small, but in case of urban society is much larger than rural society. The other factors include homogeneity and heterogeneity, caste system, mobility and social interaction. In case of rural society, there are racial, cultural and psychological traits, much homogeneity noticeable, but in case of urban society, it is unnoticeable or much heterogeneity in the same country and same time. Caste system is rampant in rural society, but much eroded in urban society. Social mobility very low in rural society, migration of population towards cities mainly due to the poverty much more. In case of urban society, social mobility based on achievement, migrants towards villages very low. Social interaction is primary contact, more durable and sincere relationship due to simplicity, but when we talk about the urban society, so numerous contacts and wide interaction, casual, short-lived relation, formal and mostly superficial relations we follow. So, migration, when we talk about the migration, it is very high in villages, but in case of urban society, migration towards village is very low. So, we move to the next section, that is availability of land and land use in villages. We know there are in villages two types of society, that is landowner and the farm worker. Landowner has land and farm worker help to grow crop in the owner's land. It may also be needed for when land is needed for roads, buildings, industries, bridges, railway tracks and other facilities. Land are reacquired against some compensation in terms of money or job opportunities, and this has caused tremendous shrinkage of agricultural land and also changed the village landscape. You have seen several highways are coming, and so agricultural land has been taken from the farmers, and it can also seen as the effect of modern technology on agriculture, and rural and urban life provide facilities as well as difficulties. So, when we talk about effects of modern technology on agriculture and rural, when modern agriculture technology also help to reduce more crops through the use of mechanized tools, expansion of irrigation facilities, and use of agrochemicals like fertilizers or chemical pesticides or chemical fertilizers. Agriculture will still remain the dominant occupation of village, and modern agriculture technology also help to improve the crop production in our country to fulfill the need of the vast growing population. So, previously we used traditional practices, tools, and we use organic cow dung manure and others, and use bullocks to plow our fields. But modern agricultural practices, tools and fertilizers helps to increase our crop productivity. Now, we are going to more crop or more crop productions through intensive agriculture, and that is means enhancing crop productivity of the land with the help of modern technology, along with unplanned urbanization, deforestation, industrialization have severely polluted the fresh water bodies and groundwater. Runoff from crop fields carry soil and chemicals that are used to water sources, and this causes eutrophication and algal bloom. Eutrophication kills aquatic life including fish, which are an important source of food for the villages. Excessive irrigation also cause waterlogging and salinization of soil that affects the soil fertility too. Excessive withdrawal of water from underground resources generally deplete groundwater in many areas, resulting in serious water scarcity, and pollution of lakes, river and other water bodies has deteriorated water quality in many areas, leading to acute shortage of safe drinking water. So, has continued use of fertilizers and pesticides which pollute groundwater sources and deteriorate the water quality. Soil erosion is one of the cause that strike the sharp modern agricultural implements, causes siltation of river. Silt is the mud and soil that gets washed up into water bodies as it gets loosened. Siltation of river and lakes reduces their water retention capacity and leading to flash flood. Continuous cropping of the same land or on marginal land for increasing food production leave no time to soil revive through the natural processes. Cultivation of mountain slopes also causes soil erosion, and all these causes loss of mineral nutrients. So, we will take a short break. While we after coming break, we will continue this discussion. ब्रेक में जाने से पहले हम बात कर रहे थे अर्बन सोसाइटी और रूरल सोसाइटी के क्या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स थे, क्या विशेषताएं थी और किस तरह के प्रॉब्लम्स और फैसिलिटीज़ वहाँ थे। अब हम बात करते हैं अर्बन लाइफ से में क्या क्या हमें फैसिलिटीज़ मिलती हैं और क्या क्या हम डिफ़िकल्टीज फेस करते हैं जब हम रूरल से मतलब विलेज से आते हैं शहरों में अर्बन लाइफ के लिए, शहरी जीवन के लिए। सो व्हेन वी मूव एज ए यूथ फ्रॉम विलेजेस टू अर्बन cities due to several reasons. Difficulties, we face many difficulties, lack of greeneries and open areas, congested living conditions with poor air quality, lack of hygienic and sanitary, scarcity of water, पानी पीने का पानी नहीं होता है, सफाई की दिक्कत होती है और हमें अच्छी जगह नहीं मिल पाती रहने के लिए। और उस समय हम स्लम फॉर्मेशन में मतलब हम शहर के आउटस्कर्ट्स पर बनाते हैं झुग्गी झोंपड़ी और उसमें रहते हैं। तो ओवर क्राउडिंग ऑल्सो लीड्स टू सोशल प्रॉब्लम, ग्रोइंग टाउनशिप इन वेट प्रोडक्टिव क्रॉप फील्ड्स एंड फॉरेस्ट, लैंड यूज चेंजेस irreversibly, land is degraded affecting agricultural field in the fringes of urban areas. So when we reach once we reach cities, so we encounter both facilities and difficulties. So शहरी जीवन क्या क्या सुविधाएं देता है, बेटर जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ मिल जाती हैं हमें और अर्बन अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ टू अबाउट स्मॉल बिजनेसेस, हायर वेजेस मिल जाते हैं, स्किल्ड लेबर को इज़ एबल टू सेव मनी फॉर सेंडिंग होम। जब हम शहर में आके काम करते हैं थोड़ा पैसा बचाते हैं और अपने घर भेजते हैं और बहुत सारी चीज़ें हमें आसानी से मिल जाती हैं शहरों में। शहरों में रहने के लिए ट्रांसपोर्ट और कम्युनिकेशन की अच्छी सुविधाएं हैं, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी और पानी पीने का पानी भी आसानी से मिल जाता है। अगर हम विलेज की बात देखें तो विलेज वुमेन्स को कई बार बहुत दूर दूर तक जाना पड़ता है पानी को लेने के लिए और ख़ास तौर से जब गर्मी का मौसम होता है उस समय ये बहुत दिक्कत वाला समय होता है जब उन्हें पानी की खोज में काफ़ी दूर तक पानी लेने के लिए जाना पड़ता है। सो टाइम thus saved provide an opportunity to devote more time to take care of children. An adult can earn money through odd jobs. क्वालिफाइड डॉक्टर्स मिल जाते हैं, मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज़ मिल जाती हैं आपको शहरों में। शहरों में सुविधाएं हैं हमारे पास बेटर एजुकेशन फैसिलिटीज़ की फॉर एडल्ट और चिल्ड्रन, दोनों के लिए सुविधाएं मिल जाती हैं पढ़ने के लिए। पर जो सुविधाएं हैं उसके साथ साथ अर्बन लाइफ में कुछ डिफ़िकल्टी भी है। एक तो ग्रीनरी नहीं है, लैक ऑफ ग्रीनरी है, ओपन स्पेस नहीं होते हैं, एयर जो क्वालिटी है वो बहुत पुअर है, विलेजेस आर लार्जली पोल्यूशन फ्री होते हैं, वाइल इन अर्बन एरियाज एयर इज़ पोल्यूटेड। रीजंस क्या हैं उसके, इंडस्ट्रीज़ है, ऑटोमोबाइल्स है, थर्मो पावर प्लांट्स हैं, बहुत सारा ट्रैफिक है, बहुत सारे व्हीकल्स हैं, scarcity of potable water and acute social shortage leads to the growth of cheap lead to slum, lack of hygiene sanitation की दिक्कत, overcrowding also causes several social problems. So now we move the next, that is special problems of, ये तो common problems है कि कुछ special problems भी हैं urban areas की, changes in lifestyle and land availability. Rapid increase of urban population has necessitated expansion of urban limits. The requirement of housing, construction of road, industries, dams has led to the encroachment of the agricultural land and forest. Areas हमारा कम हो रहा है, एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड को लेकर ही हम अपने सड़कें बना रहे हैं, घर बना रहे हैं, इंडस्ट्री लगा रहे हैं। ग्रोइंग टाउनशिप invade productive crop fields and luxuriant forest. Concrete buildings come up on agricultural field, grazing land and deforested areas. Land use changing irreversibly. Land is degraded and affecting agricultural field on the benefit fringes of urban areas. In most developing nations, high-rise buildings और मल्टी स्टोरी फ्लैट और सराउंडेड बाय स्क्वेटर एंड नेबरहुड में आप देखेंगे तो स्लम्स बने होते हैं विच अट्रैक्ट्स न्यू माइग्रेंट्स टू सिटीज़ बट इन एडुकेट लिविंग स्पेस, लैक पोर्टेबल वाटर एंड लाइट, अनहाइजीनिक conditions from inadequate sanitation and safe waste disposal causes suffering. Migrants from villages take no time to adopt urban lifestyle, which shows up in their manner of dressing up, feeding habits and interaction with others. So, as large number of people permanently settle in small areas to form cities and towns, that leads to increase in the consumption of natural resources. So, increased resource consumption अर्बन एरियाज़ में बढ़ गया है क्योंकि हमें बहुत सारी सुविधाओं के लिए बहुत सारी नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज का इस्तेमाल करना पड़ रहा है अपने लिए. लैंड अवेलेबिलिटी डिविल्ड एज बिल्डिंग्स ऑफ फॉर हाउसिंग पर्पजेज कम अप, increased water requirement for the growing urban population that causes the decline in water table or water availability. Excessive withdrawal of groundwater leads to the groundwater depletion. To meet the growing need for water, result is drawn from distant areas that disturbing the route of natural water bodies and affecting ecosystem too. So, अर्बन एरिया में जब हम इतने सारे नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, बहुत सारे लोग उन सब सुविधा का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, संसाधनों का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, तो उसके केस में वेस्ट भी बहुत सारा जनरेट होता है अर्बन एरियाज़ में. वाटर लॉगिंग की प्रॉब्लम होती है हमारे यहाँ और बहुत सारी मात्रा में हम पानी का इस्तेमाल भी करते हैं. और वेस्ट जनरेशन जो है वो एक ग्रोइंग प्रॉब्लम है. और वेस्ट जो है हम दो तरह का जनरेट कर रहे हैं, एक तो बायोडिग्रेडेबल होता है, दूसरा होता है नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट. बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट कैन बी रिसाइकल्ड एंड यूज्ड फॉर बायोगैस जनरेशन और फर्टिलाइज़र, ऑर्गेनिक फर्टिलाइज़र की हम बात करते हैं. एंड नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट आर डम्प्ड इन लैंडफिल्स लाइक प्लास्टिक, ग्लास, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट, बैटरीज, एल्युमिनियम कैंस वगैरह. लैंडफिल की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो लैंडफिल को ये डिस्पोजल ऑफ वेस्ट मटेरियल बाय बरिंग इट है, स्पेशली एज द मेथड ऑफ फिलिंग इन एंड रिक्लेमिंग एक्सक्यूटेड पिट्स. लिक्विड वेस्ट जो कि इंडस्ट्रीज और डोमेस्टिक सेक्टर से मिलता है और वो डायरेक्टली डिस्चार्ज हो जाता है किसी वाटर बॉडी में, तो ये वाटर बॉडी को पोल्यूट करता है, वाटर पोल्यूशन हो जाता है. उस समय जल प्रदूषण हो जाता है जब विदाउट उसको ट्रीट किए हुए भेजते हैं. सड़कों पर आप देखेंगे बहुत सारे मोटर व्हीकल्स चलते हैं और इंडस्ट्रीज से भी कुछ गैसें निकलती हैं और ये गैसें जो हैं ये गैसियस जो प्रदूषक होते हैं वो एयर पोल्यूशन करते हैं. और जब हम मेट्रो सिटीज़ में या बड़े शहरों में रहते हैं तो हमको एक और समस्या का सामना करना पड़ता है, वो है ट्रैफिक जैम. थोड़ी सी बारिश हो जाए तब भी देखते हैं आप कितने बड़े बड़े जाम लग जाते हैं. तो ट्रैफिक जाम आर द रीसेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटीज़. अब हम बात करते हैं स्लम एंड अर्बन प्लानिंग की. तो जब हम सब स्लम की बात कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि जब हम गांव से शहर में आ गए, हमारे पास प्रॉपर रहने के लिए नहीं जगह है, हमने कहीं आउटस्कर्ट्स में बनाया एक स्लम, अपने रहने के लिए रिहाइश बनाई. सो रैपिड एडवांसिंग अर्बनाइजेशन, ग्रोइंग शॉर्टेज ऑफ हाउसिंग हैज़ लेड टू फॉर्मेशन ऑफ लार्ज स्लम्स. और अगर भारत की बात करें तो धारावी जो है मुंबई में है, ये एक सबसे बड़ा स्लम है. और स्लम का क्या विशेषता क्या है कि स्लम हैज़ लैक बेसिक फैसिलिटीज़ एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. दे रिप्रेजेंट worst form of environmental degradation as they not only contribute towards environmental problem, but also suffers from crime and other social problems too. Once the migrant reach the cities in search of jobs, they squat on vacant land and construct shelters from scrap materials like plastic, wooden plank, bamboos, jute, straw bricks and mud. Slums proliferate rapidly and in unplanned manner. These kacha or pakka houses are built back to back and edge to edge, blocking adequate sunlight and fresh air. These are usually one room tenement occupied by several inmates. Slums are squatter settlements. Absence of safe disposal of waste or garbage, lack of piped water and drainage, electricity creates a very precarious situation. Some suffer from fire hazard due to short circuits and carelessness of residents. कई बार देखते हैं कि आप कहीं झुग्गी में आग, स्लम एरिया में आग लग जाती है और बहुत सारे सेटलमेंट जो है स्लम सेटलमेंट वो भी जल जाते हैं, नष्ट हो जाते हैं और कई बार लाइफ भी आपकी रिस्क पर होती है. Urban planning body takes a serious note of this growing trends. So now we are coming to the end. What you have learned, what we have discussed during this program in few sentences. Society formation resulted when humans discovered the security that living in a group provides. They discarded the hunting gathering culture and created human settlements. Based on size, settlement may be rural and urban. Life in cities and town is urban life, and there are several factors which push rural folks out of villages and pull or attract the to lead the life in cities. Social heterogeneity, individualistic lifestyle, voluntary group formation, social mobility and availability of facilities are characteristics of urban life, but migration from villages to cities has led social, economic and environmental implications. Rural or village settlement have characteristics such as agriculture as vocation, joint family system, caste system. Poverty and illiteracy of villages makes them orthodox and superstitious. Rural world and urban world differ with regards to environment, occupation, community size, population density and social activities. Modern technology has reached the farmer living in villages. Intensive agriculture help in growing more food, but use of chemical fertilizers has degraded not only agricultural land, but also environment per se. Urban life in India has had a benefit like work, opportunist, high wages, availability of consumable, comfortable day-to-day living. Difficulties of urban life are lack of greeneries, pollution, overcrowding, social problem, and also urbanization also leads environmental resource consumption and excessive waste generation, and slums and squatter settlements are a reality in cities. These upset urban planning and have specific environmental and social problems too. So, dear learners, this is all about lesson 8 human societies. We will come again to meet you in a new program of environmental science. Till then, goodbye and thank you.